Hey guys, how you going? This is Mike's fourth video talking about mental health. I am joined today with a very tired Cavalier King Charles and a very beautiful British short hair. I've just got them in the background because they are peaceful and you'll be able to hear snoring, and I just wanted you to know where that was coming from, which is this little beauty. So when I started the channel, I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to do things, what I wanted to do, but I've sort of decided to go in a direction of, I want to give out help and advice, I want to give out blogs, I want to tell a bit about my story, I want to maybe talk about things that I'm passionate about and collect or what I've achieved or positive reinforcements for me, and also share updates on my animals. I have 4 cats and a dog. I have 2 British Shorthair cats, a Cavalier King Charles, a Norwegian Forest cat crossed but unsure with what, and a Persian chinchilla who I got in December, who is the sweetest cat I've ever had in my life. She's just absolutely incredible. I've not been blessed with having a lot of people in my life. I've struggled to make a lot of good friendships and things like that. On the face of it, I've dealt well with people and had sort of amicable relationships, but due to whatever reasons, I've just struggled having a lot of people. And as time sort of progressed, my circles got smaller and smaller because I've isolated myself more and more, which is why I've probably ended up with such an army of animals. I think we've all heard the term crazy cat lady. I think that unfortunately applies to me, bar the lady part. So it doesn't really bother me too much, to be honest. It's something that I've got to work on, and that is the reason why I'm doing YouTube, because I'm feeling that whoever listens to it, if and when they listen to it, if they get any benefit, or if they feel a bit less alone, or feel that I'm a friendly voice that can understand them or listen to them or maybe help give them advice, then that'd be incredible, and that'd mean everything to me, and it'd help me on my journey as well. I'm not talking to you from a place of me being 100% and me being fixed. I'm talking to you as a person on the same journey as you, potentially, similar conditions, similar age potentially, or even if you're younger. I've got no sort of age range, gender target or anything like that. I don't think mental health is particularly easy for anyone, so I don't subscribe to saying it's easier for men, easier for women, easier for children or whatever. Your journey is your journey, and your journey is important. You're important, and the main thing to focus on is getting happy, getting healthy, and getting back to enjoying life if you can. I just wanted to offer a bit of advice in terms of, if you've, say, just recently been diagnosed, if you're struggling with your diagnosis, or if you're struggling with finding things that are helping you. Just wanted to give you a bit of advice, because when you sort of go on Google or go on the internet kind of things, it can be quite unrealistic. It can be things that are quite unachievable, or just things that are just unrealistic, to be honest. The first thing I'd say is, depending on how you are, if you're, say, like quite a good internalization person, if you're good at positive affirmations, if you're good at mindfulness, things like that, where you can sort of get external positivity or internal positivity into you at regular intervals, that is a useful tool. I'm not so much for the meditation, etc., but I have what I call sort of pangs, which are like moments where I do get a bit of pride on myself, or I notice an achievement kind of thing, and I try and give myself a bit of credit for that. When I first got diagnosed with like a mental health problem, I've had pets in the past, and unfortunately I had a pet and it didn't sort of like work out, and the pet ended up with sort of my ex in the end. And that was something that sort of broke my heart, because it was my dream to have a lot of pets, to be honest. And so now, being at the point where I live with 5, that means a lot to me. That's an achievement in itself. They're all happy, they're all healthy, they're all well adjusted, friendly and sweet. They're all absolutely beautiful as well. If you want to check out the videos, that would be cool. But yeah, celebrating any achievement that you do, whether it be big, whether it be small, whether you find it insignificant, try and celebrate it. And I don't mean throw a party or whatever, but just try and appreciate the moment, appreciate the good feeling that comes with it. I know in life you can go from things as being as like a successful lawyer or being really successful in your job, dealing with £1,000,000 mergers or dealing with chips and McDonald's. You can go from so many areas and jobs and what you can do that have different importance, different values, and to go back down to the basics is going to seem massively tough. But if you spot the mini wins in life and start appreciating them, things can build back up. And it's not a quick journey. There's no one size fits all method of getting better. There is no, how do you word it? There's no sort of time structure to depression. It's different for everyone. Everything is different from everyone. The scary thing is there was a lot of external pressures put on. And I'm going to do a separate video when I've sort of educated myself fully on it. But this is more of a matter just to do with sort of like English culture and plans over here that are going to suddenly put people with certain conditions a bit more at risk financially, etc. I'd say personally, social media for me was the thing that I had to get off. I know that I use this now. I use Reddit and Twitter solely for keeping track of football. And Reddit I use for sort of forums about mental health and various other things. But anything, I sort of found sort of Instagram or sort of Facebook to be a bit vain, a bit. I was struggling with confidence on there. I was finding my interactions to be a bit negative, or I'd find myself getting overly sensitive to the fact that I got less attention than people, or you'd post something that maybe didn't get as many likes as you can, and I found I got a bit, didn't do my self-esteem very good, so I came off there to try and sort of focus on myself. Unfortunately, as I've said in other videos, I'm getting a back operation not too far, so I'm a bit quite a bit bigger than I want to be at the moment, so that's another thing that's sort of weighing on my self-esteem. I've just ordered an inversion table as well, so I'm going to give that a go to see if I can take a bit of pressure off the spine. I've started walking more and more every day. Ted over here has been a massive reason for why I get out of bed most days. Yeah, so more advice. I've chose to buy, I've tried a guitar and a piano, but my sausage fingers weren't good enough on the piano. On the guitar. So I stuck with the piano. I've learned to read sheet music and play a few songs on there. It's a nice hobby. It can be quite nicely time consuming as well, because if you are off work now, or if you're stuck at periods at home, it's quite hard to focus on things. Even TV, you might struggle concentration wise, etc. So learning something like musical instrument, painting, doing something artistic, learning a new skill. It can be even things like DIY, or it could be learning about your car, how to fix things in that. That's something that's massively beneficial, because as you achieve new skills, new knowledge, that's little wins in itself, and then that's something you can get out of it, because everything to start with feels negative, everything tied to it feels negative, all the thinking is negative. If you can tie in little strands of positivity here and there, and don't get me wrong, they're not massive, it's not the problem's always outweighing it for now, but if you just add little bits of positivity in here and there that you can summon back to, that you can come back to and think about, it is a massively important thing. There will be times where you feel really lonely, really isolated. I think listening to podcasts, listening to music, trying to stop yourself being alone with your own thoughts so much is a beneficial thing. Even if you're not going outside, try and keep your mind occupied, keep it thinking about things. If you're interested in books and stuff, maybe audio books, things like that to learn about. if you're interested in collecting things. Although I would try and avoid getting too into shopping and stuff like that, because you can get a little bit carried away. Buying things, although can give you short-term buzzes, that aren't always an answer and aren't always a beneficial thing for you in the long run, because if that leads to money issues or just an over abundance of things that you may or may not need, it creates other issues down the line. So I would say shopping and spending money isn't a great idea when you're depressed as a route to make you feel better. Here and then it might be as like a new outfit, especially I think, and I would say, I was going to say especially girls, but I think anyone benefits from a new outfit, and if they feel they look good or the clothes fit nicely, that's a nice thing. I mean, I'm into my tattoos, and I quite like doing that. I find that as a nice sort of release, and I'm absolutely covered in them, which in some aspects I love, because they all mean something to me. In other ways, we still live in a world where there's a lot of people that sort of look down or judgmental on tattoos, or think they make you look a bit thuggish or whatever. So that's something I've thought about, but I want to be me. I want to look how I want to look. I don't want to have to conform to what other people think is the right method, because I think having a bit of ink on your skin doesn't really matter. I think having piercings, it doesn't really matter. I think we've come too far away from acceptance at the moment. Gender, race, sexuality, whatever, it really doesn't matter. What's important is that all people really really want to be happy. They want to be healthy, they want to be happy, and they want to be loved. I think those are three of the main things. There are other things that probably everyone wants, like riches and that sort of stuff, but the basics, I find, are the happiness one, the loved one, and the healthy one. So my big believer is I'm very, very empathetic. I'm quite big-hearted, and I really care about other people being happy. I think if we can strip back to the basics and do that, I would say there is a massive benefit to people with mental health that people don't realise, that they are some of the most caring individuals in the world. It's really easy to say that, oh, if you've got a mental health condition, you're out of touch with how things are or how things feel, and you're in balance and stuff like that. But that's not always true. What I found with mental health is I care so much about every little interaction, every little thing, that it's just overwhelming and extremely stressful. But I think caring is a brilliant thing you get out of, because you do get some things out of having mental health conditions. You notice some changes in your personality that you benefit from. I think caring, being less judgmental is one, because when you say, if you've thought mental health isn't, I don't know, not that isn't real, but you've read stories and you think, how can that be possible? Like hallucinations, for example, and then you end up having it. It can be quite surreal, because your thinking's been challenged, and you've seen things that you thought were sort of impossible, kind of. I, for one, used to think hallucinations. I thought, there's no way I can see something as real as these guys next to me and it not be real, but it has happened, and it's terrifying, because it's really disconcerting, really unsettling, and you've got to try and find a way to make understanding out of it. If you can employ your empathy, employing your caring, apply your good qualities to helping others, I think that can do a lot for you, whether you volunteer somewhere or whether you are just a voice for someone who needs it. It's what I'm trying to do. I know I babble a lot. I know the videos might end up being a bit long. I'm a bit unsure of the exact way to do it for the best. But I quite like the idea of this feeling a bit like a therapy thing for me as well. So it's quite nice to talk things out. So I've given a little bit of advice so far about learning new things and all that, and it might feel quite basic and it might feel almost patronising when people say to you, go and try and learn something quite basic or quite new, or something that you think that your experience in your life, like your past now, but it can make a genuine difference. I'd say hug the ones you love and that love you. Um, Always try and tell them they're loved. I come from a family that don't really vocalise that, and it makes me really sad. Um, I mean, I've spent my whole 38-year life, and neither me or my dad have ever vocalised it to each other. Me and my sister have never vocalised it to each other. My aunt, my uncle, none of them have. I have with my mum, but it took me originally breaking down for it to come from her as well. So I'd say being shown love and being told love is a massive, massive thing for your mental health. I think if you're shown it a lot, it can only do you good. So cherish that as much as you can, and make sure you get the most out of any positive feelings and any positive relationships you've got. Try and avoid being around people that bring out the worst of you or don't make you feel as good. If you're in like a relationship that maybe isn't doing you good mentally, maybe reassess it, maybe get advice on it, maybe look at ways to improve it. Look at literally strip back and look at any way you think your mental health is being affected negatively, and try and work on ways of counteracting it, from basic ways of celebrating small wins to bigger things like volunteering at an animal shelter or a kid's home or something like that, being a big brother to someone or a big sister to someone. There's many different ways where you can get value whilst you struggle through. But my main sort of thing is, I don't want to tell you what to do. I want to just sort of speak about things that I've done, and maybe hopefully they might make you feel a bit motivated to try something new. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to just be a friendly voice, be someone hopefully you find maybe reassuring or maybe understanding, because I think when you do click with someone, like whether it be a therapist or whether it be someone with similar experiences, it is quite important. And I think it's a nice feeling to know that you're not going through this alone. And I'd like to say that we're all in this together. We all want to get to the same place of being happy. So hopefully we can get a community going and we can do some positive things out there, share the positive stories, and grow this into something that can be sort of a poster child, I suppose, like a poster for others to see that what good you can do out of mental health, getting together, getting better, getting stronger, and working together. I need to work on my wording, but I don't have editing, so sometimes there are going to be mistakes, maybe where I get the wrong word in or use the wrong terminology, but I will try my hardest to get things better, because I still don't want to be scripted and take away like the natural element of talking. But I'd love this to be something that people look at and think, wow, look at these people, they've got conditions, but they've come together and created something beautiful, created something helpful, and created an alternative to having to be stuck waiting for therapy and having no one to talk to. So I hope any of the advice might have found useful. You've probably heard it a lot. But I just wanted to drill home that just because you've been diagnosed with something, it doesn't make you less important. It doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't make any change onto your value at all. You're still important. You might not feel it. You might not have the reassurance from other people. But from my perspective, I think every person is important. Everyone has something to offer. Everyone has good in them. Whether it's hard to find or hard to see, that's a different debate. But you are important. And if you do feel alone, do feel isolated, and you want to reach out, feel free to comment or message the channel. And I will always try and be a friendly ear and offer some friendly advice to anyone who needs it. And hopefully as this grows, if it does grow, more and more people can get involved and we can turn it into something really important. That's a dream anyway, but I will leave you guys to it to enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you picked up something from this, and I will catch you soon. Ta-ra.